It was the morning of November 17th, 2010, where I found that the road of darkness that I was traveling down with my emotions in the passenger seat would lead back to where there was light. Dark clouds, filled with pollution covering the sun, evaporated into droplets of rain and a ghostly color of fog that covered the streets of Yokosuka, Japan. Tiny red pills engraved with three C's and a plastic bottle filled with green toxic called NyQuil were recited into my body for all the wrong reasons. It was my farewell to the world. I was failing school, and everybody close to me was tired of being around me. 7:25 in the morning, time for school, and the countdown began. I was in geometry as a sophomore for the second time in high school. The irony of the situation. A young military kid given a great opportunity for education. I was supposed to be living life in the right angle. Instead, I've fallen adjacent. After taking Corsoden pills and liquidated NyQuil, I began to slowly lose concentration, crossed my arms, and rested my head on my desk. Draylen, do you need to go see the nurse so you can go home? You don't look so well today. Yes, ma'am, I replied as I gathered my notebook and pencils into my bag and went to the office. For some strange reason, I started preaching to myself that I need to seek counseling as I was walking through the toxic fog. I put my head down past the nurse's office and to the ASAC's counselors. Before she could even ask who I was and why I was in her office, the voice of a tarnished soul changed the climate of joy in the morning in the room. I swallowed 3 Corsoden pills and half a bottle of NyQuil. I'm past the stage of contemplating suicide. My name is Draylen Adams and I need help. She closed the door behind me, gently placed her hand on my shoulder, and told me to take a seat. I lowered my backpack, took a seat with my head down in regret and sorrow as she pulled out a folder of forms for me to fill out. The room was cold. The lights were off. Only light available was daylight or lack thereof on this day. Chills going up and down my spine. I could feel my soul on its way out of my temple. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Mr. Adams, I usually have students fill out these forms before I speak to them one-on-one. However, this is a more serious situation. I think we can wait till after for you to fill out this paperwork. I'm going to call for an ambulance for— No! I yelled in a loud enough voice that couldn't be heard outside the room. I'm fine. Please don't call. Only came because it's supposed to be confidential and no one shall know what we're about to discuss. We talked for about an hour and a half about why I was contemplating attempting suicide. And then she brought to me a solution to my problem. She asked me if I could consider writing all of my emotions, thoughts, and what I did in a journal every day. I told her I would consider it, but I don't know if it would help me. Writing my journal was supposed to teach me how to cope with stress, and it was my weekly report to her every time we scheduled another session. After school, I was almost completely sober. As I was driving home, I was listening to emo music because at the time it was the only thing I could relate to. With half of my attention on the road and the other half on the song, I began daydreaming of me performing the song Black Cloud by Joe Budden to a crowd that felt the same pain I felt. I arrived home shortly after the song finished, and I began writing down my feelings into my journal. When writing, I noticed a change where I became more comfortable talking about my emotions. My emotions turned into words, and my words turned into power. The more my pen touched the pad as I vented the coldness of my heart out, my tears slowly waited to drip down. My breathing was steady, but only for a short period of time. It was the calm before the storm. Then, my exorcism was performed. My soul bled out all the darkness in my vessel through my pen and the sheets of paper. Simple words turned into powerful meaning. Then there was rhythm. And finally, I created lyrics. Music was the light shining, leading the way out of my eternal forest of darkness.